Well, in 70s, when there were lots of students coming to United States, there wasn't anything available where we could invest, except buying individual stocks. And most commonly, people are buying utility stocks. And picking stocks was not that easy. So as the student population grew, we had a little bit more savings. We certainly needed a vehicle to invest, and we started one of the investment group, which worked very nicely. And then we thought that why can't we have something which is nationwide, and people can pool their money in and be available to everyone rather than just in the local city. And that's where I started exploring the idea of a mutual fund.
A mutual fund, incidentally, is a very Islamic concept. It's everybody puts your money in, and you share in the results. There's no guarantees. Nobody gets paid unless everybody gets paid, and everybody shares. The manager shares, the investors share, and it's proportional to what you put in. And so that's a very fair, very Islamic way to invest. We started the fund, as you know, in 1986 when I was at Unified Management in Indianapolis. Yaqub was working in Indianapolis and brought this idea to us. So we needed to understand how to invest according to the rules of Islamic investing. And that was quite complicated, but it was something that I enjoyed learning about. And Yaqub and his other board members that he brought onto the board was basically other members of the Islamic community. And then we worked with the Fiqh Council of North America to come up with sort of the investing rules that were proper for Islamic investing. And that took several years. We worked at that for a while as we went back and forth about not only how do you select stocks, but how do you manage portfolios. That's a little bit more complicated, actually, than just buying the stocks. Is when do you sell them? Maybe the market goes up and down and up and down, and the stock goes in and out and in and out of the investable universe. So things like that we had to work out. We've always been value investors. We managed other funds, and so we said we'll use our style ideas and buy value stocks, which fit very well with these criteria that we developed with Yaqub and the Fiqh Council for how to invest the portfolio.
I think all the rules did evolve over time, and we are still learning. We are finding new things, which we need to consider, just the change in the environment and the way things are happening. So some of the rules we started with, then the Dow Jones Islamic Index came along. They further refined some of the rules, and then our detailed discussion with the Fiqh Council finally gave us a good set of rules which we can follow in the up market, down market, when to sell, when not to sell, and so on and so forth. So yes, over time, and we are still learning. Over time, for example, we were invested in South Africa. Someone brought it to our attention that how come we are investing in apartheid, and we discussed it and we decided to divest. But once the apartheid was over, we have gone back and we are investing in South African mining stocks and others. So those things are constantly happening, and we need to be vigilant and make sure that we are sticking to our rules. Even today we are discussing about sustainability, socially responsible stocks, going green, environmentally responsible, and definitely it's been a learning process.
Well, we've been definitely doing this for a long time, and it's becoming more accepted, that's right, but we think that the kind of rules that Islamic investing, social responsible investing, are really very close. Faith-based investing is really very close to the same thing. Things like avoiding lots of debt. That's been a big part of our success. In sustainable investing, that's a smart thing to do. If you don't have a lot of debt, you're probably less likely to go out of business in the next downturn. We're looking for long-term sustainable businesses that will make money over the long run for the investors. One of the advantages of this Islamic set of rules is that as the advisor, we've had to spend a lot of time knowing our companies well to make sure they follow the rules. But I think that it means that we understand the businesses in ways that maybe other fund managers don't really know their companies as well. We also have a rule that says don't speculate. It's not Islamic to be speculative. You can buy for the long term, but you can't speculate. So we're not big traders. We don't turn the stocks over just because the average has moved up or something like that. We really do hold for the long term, because that also we think is actually good investing, but it's also good way for us to know the companies. And so we're quite thorough in the research that we do, knowing our businesses. We think that that's a big advantage of following the Islamic rules that we've learned over the years.
Helping people to invest Islamically and be able to invest properly and make money itself is a mission. The biggest accomplishment I can think of, and thankful to God, will be that we are helping people to do the right things.
Please consider an investment's objectives, risks, charges, and expenses carefully before investing. To obtain this and other important information about the Amana Funds in a current prospectus or summary prospectus, please visit www.amanafunds.com or call toll-free 1-888-732-6262. Please read the prospectus or summary prospectus carefully before investing.